Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the ATI Podcast. Barrett here, Season 2, Episode 13. Got Josh by my side as usual, and we are talking to Pete from Lotus Eater Machine. How you doing, Pete?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Thank you for doing the show.
Thanks.
Pete,
yeah.
Pete is the vocalist for Lotus Eater Machine, right, Pete?
That's correct, yeah.
And so if you guys haven't checked out Lotus Eater Machine, we've been sharing some of their music and their URLs and tags for social media and that sort of stuff. So definitely, if you haven't heard them by now, check them out after the show. But we're also going to be including on the actual audio drop of the show some of their music and some of our favorite tracks as well. So, Pete, I think we first got connected post the See You Next Tuesday interview at the beginning of the season. Yeah. And got a chance to check you guys out, too, as a result of that, and really enjoyed your music. So that's why we're having the conversation we're having today.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely a big influence on this band for sure. See You Next Tuesday, yeah. Yeah,
and I can see a little bit of that. When I first listened to your music, I kind of automatically, and we've been listening, not to say that we're like old heads, but we're in our middle 30s. We used to be in post-hardcore and melodic hardcore bands and stuff in the mid-2000s. We were big fans of See You Next Tuesday as well. They were a band that had a bit of an impression on us. People like them, Misery Signals, Converge, that sort of stuff. But I'll say, whenever I heard your guys' stuff, I was thinking things like Car Bomb, to a degree. Not that your vocals sound like this, but The Locust, but some of the musical parts and some of the noisy elements that you guys put inside of your music too. Kind of think of that. Even maybe Daughters a little bit too at times. And I think actually the Daughters aspect of it is more so your vocal range and work, because I think you implement a lot of different varying vocal types. You don't stick to one lane. You have kind of the yelly, screamy stuff, as well as the what I always call the strain talking, which I'm a big fan of in heavy music. Daughters, again, a band that does that very well. A newer band that I like a lot, Chat Pile, they do a lot of that too.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that your vocal range is definitely something that stood out to me with the band immediately, and I really enjoyed.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah.
What are some of your vocal influences?
It's changed a lot since we started the band, and it constantly changes. But I mean, early on, I guess I really wanted to do the deathcore stuff, back in the early 2000s and stuff, when that was kind of a new sound and stuff, Despised Icon and everything. And I really wanted to do that, but couldn't not do that back then. And it took me so long to figure stuff out. And it wasn't until I don't know. So I probably started trying to do vocals in 2007 or 2008, and then didn't really get there for a long time. I kind of did a hardcore punk project for a while, 80s sounding. So I was just talky, yelling. Yeah. But I could not figure out the metal vocals for a long time. And then I got into Every Time I Die and Dillinger and stuff, and I kind of figured out that crackly yell thing. Yeah, yeah. And that was for a long time. That was the only thing I could do up until pretty much around the time I started this band. Well, actually, I did one metalcore project at the end of high school. And I started kind of figuring stuff out. but then I started this band, and you know, I was really into Cattle Decapitation when we first started, so I was doing a lot of those vocals on the first album. But also like revisiting Heavy Heavy Low Low and stuff like that. So
that's a personal favorite.
Yeah, for sure. Quick plug. My friends in DB Cooper, the singer of this band we play with a lot, DB Cooper, their singer Shay has a side project putting an album out tomorrow called Multiple Pieces, and both me and Robbie from Heavy Heavy Low Low are guest vocals on it. So I'll plug that real quick.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah,
we'll be checking that out for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so where was that? Okay, yeah. So it took me a really long time, and I'm still not where I want to be, but you know, I always wanted to sound like you know the like local, a lot of like the local guys like Vincent Bennett, Nate Johnson, like the big like powerful like death metal vocals is what I always wanted to do, but I don't even think I nailed it on Prisoner of Seven Demons, but the next one, it'll be a lot more like powerful vocals, because like I finally like can really be loud and like do the death metal stuff that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Nate Johnson, Phil Bozeman, like all those early deathcore guys, huge influences. And then yeah, like you know, Daughters is from relatively close by too.
Sure.
So it's all stuff like that. Like when I was getting into music in high school and stuff, it was like the like Providence scene had like Daughters-y kind of sounding bands, like the Scene Grind stuff and the Sassy stuff, and then you know, Boston always has like a hardcore scene, a metalcore scene. So yeah, kind of influenced by a little bit of everything.
I know that the band originally started out with a different name, right? And you guys had to change that name. Can you tell us that story? What the original name was, why you had to change it, that sort of thing?
So when I was in college, I was like massively into like screamo and like melodic hardcore and stuff like that, like emotional stuff. And I really wanted to be in like a scramsy old school screamo style band like Rain and Seisha and stuff. So I started one called Geisterfahrer, and it just never took off. And just like, you know, just all of us had like really bad substance abuse issues at the time. So it was just like, you know, it was just a mess. But I really liked the name. And I got the name because I was like, oh, it's got to be a European word, like Rain and Seisha.
Sure.
And sorry, cats are messing with stuff. So and then just randomly like this article showed up on my like, you know, internet feeds, and it was like 10 words that don't have direct translations into English, and that was one of them. Geisterfahrer means ghost driver, and it's like they use it on like news broadcasts and stuff when people end up committing suicide by driving the wrong way on the highway. And I was just like, well, that is the most screamo emo thing I've ever heard. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. It kind of almost alludes to like understanding a car crash, like Thursday.
Yeah.
To me, that's kind
of
the first thing that came to my mind. Yeah, I never you drew that allusion there for sure. And you guys had to change the name though, right? Because unless I got this wrong, or at least it was an encouragement, because you guys were like getting some like harassment from somebody.
No, we kind of overplayed that. We were like thinking about making a fake like what do you call it? Like a do not continue legal thing. But
cease
like
and desist.
Cease and desist. Yeah, we were gonna like Photoshop a cease and desist and stuff and like play it up. But basically like there's this like old like I don't know, I think they probably sound like Joy Division or something, like post-punk German band. That like from the 80s or something. They're the one true like original Geisterfahrer. And their vocalist Matthias would like randomly like comment on our stuff sometimes and be like, I don't remember this and like stuff like that. And it was just funny. It was not, there was no malice or anything. He was just, you know, taking the piss and stuff. And it was funny.
Yeah.
So we just played that up with the name change to be funny, but really it was just, no one knew how to say it. No one knew how to spell it. People didn't remember it. Like it was just, and when we recorded, this last full length with Nick Cates from Mouth Breather, he was like, you guys should like change your name to like something English. And that kind of got me thinking too, like, yeah, we really should, like, you know, like, so yeah, it was mostly just like it was just hard. People would like, you know, people wouldn't always use our logo on flyers, and they would like use whatever font they want, and then they'd spell it wrong and stuff, and it was just like kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
This is a much lighter example of what you're detailing, but whenever I was in a hardcore band and ended up getting kind of posty and doomy toward the tail end of its run, but we had started as a band name, We Were Statues, and you would not believe how many venues used the wrong tense of, I mean, it wasn't were.
Right.
They were using the consonant we are for us. And like we would walk up, I'm like, how does this make any sense? Like if you read this out loud to yourself, like we are statues, like so we just eventually like changed our name just for that silly reason. It really was a huge factor in us changing our name just simply to Worlds. And
there's a lot of like Japanese shoegaze bands have like names like that don't make any sense in English, but I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like the mysterious nature sometimes behind band names. Like I like to know why people name their bands names, but sometimes like the payoff is not worth my wonder.
Right.
Like it's actually just kind of better to wonder sometimes, you know?
Whenever
you actually hear a story that's like, oh no,
oh man.
We drew names or something like that.
The craziest backstory ever. You know August Burns Red?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The backstory for that name is completely
I don't think
fucked.
I know it.
I don't remember it exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's like, I think it's the original singer maybe. His ex-girlfriend burnt his dog named Red, like lit his dog on fire.
Oh,
and his girlfriend's name was August. Like she burnt his dog alive. Yeah, it's like it's the most brutal thing ever, but it just sounds like you know, colorful poetry like August Burns Red, but I'm pretty sure the backstory is like the most insane thing ever.
That changes a lot of their music for me, man.
Yeah, me too. Like they didn't really land real heavy with me back in the day when they came out.
No, they don't.
But now that you say that, I might give them a second chance. Yeah. How did the band exactly come together? I think some of you guys went to high school together. Is that right?
Yeah, well, we did, but we weren't like super close in high school or anything. Like, back in high school, like our guitar player CJ, I knew him as someone that was like into rock and stuff, and like played in like a sort of like classic rock, like bluesy type group, and yeah, basically things didn't pan out with that screamo band, like I was saying earlier, and I moved back home after college. I was living in the city, in Boston, and then I moved back home, and I was like wondering if I should give up with the whole music thing, because like the last I don't know 5 projects I tried to do just never recorded anything, never played a show. It was like pretty pathetic for a few years, and so I was thinking of giving up, and then I was like, also with the screamo band, like I kept like blowing my voice out, even though we never played any shows and stuff. Like me trying to do the like traditional screamo vocals was another vocal I just like could not figure out. But I was getting back into metal at the time, and I was like getting back into like Deathgrind and deathcore and everything, and I was just like singing in my car and stuff, and that stuff started coming more naturally than like anything I was trying to do before. And I was like, and then I went to just like a Christmas party or something, just like a hometown party with a bunch of the boys from high school, and CJ was there, and I think he was wearing like a Blood Incantation or a Spectral Voice shirt, some death metal shirt. And I was like, you're into metal now? And he was like, at that time he was in this band called Mourned, just kind of like this like beat down death metal band that's around here. And he's like, yeah, I play Mourned. He's like, I'm into death metal and stuff. And I was like, you want to start a band and whatever. And at that time I was thinking of doing something like more on the metalcore side, because I still didn't think I could get like brutal with my vocals and stuff. But then we had his dad at the time was like running an Italian American club, so we we met up in the basement of the club while there was like a Jehovah's Witness meeting upstairs, and we just had all this like super warm, like gross, like Yingling and Heineken, like in this. It was just like this like storage for the bar, and we just like had some beers, and we set up a laptop to play blast beats, just like drum machine. And he played riffs, and I did my best Travis Ryan impression, and we were like, we thought it was going to be this like weird agoraphobic nosebleed, like cyber grind thing. But then he was like, it's like, we can't do this with the laptop. Like, we need an actual drummer. Like, I don't want to do this. And just Andre popped into my head because like he was just the best drummer when we were in high school. He was like always in bands, and he had like the most ridiculous. I remember he had a trailer, and he was like had a whole ass trailer for the most ridiculous like 2 double bass drum, like huge cymbal rack. Like he just had this like absurd, absolutely ridiculous kit for a high schooler, like back in the day. And he was just always insane. He was like one of the only kids in town that could blast beat and stuff like that. And so I hit him up, and I gave him a list of influences and stuff. And at that time, totally, it was just like a death, going to be like a Deathgrind thing, like Cattle Decap, Exhumed, like stuff like that. And then he showed up to the second jam sesh first one with him with a Car Bomb shirt. And we were like, oh, well, we all like that stuff too. And then CJ played the riff, 8 Dead, 9 If You Count the Fetus, See You Next Tuesday. He played that warming up, and we're like, oh, you're playing See You Next Tuesday? And so like that's how like the mathcore meets Deathgrind thing kind of happened. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's very evident, especially with you guys' latest release, and that kind of answers my next question, was kind of how the sound was shaped and how you guys eventually kind of determined, this is kind of the lane that we're going to ride in and stuff. Some of the noisier elements of the band too, how are you guys making those noises with guitar? Do you have a processor, or like how's that coming out that we're hearing on these recordings?
Probably like 90% of it is just guitar and guitar pedals. I'm not the best with gear or anything, so I don't know like what pedals CJ uses and stuff. I know he's got like a bunch of like Earthquaker devices stuff, and like he actually makes his own too. He makes his own noise pedals.
Yeah, I love mods.
Cool.
He's I think one of his one of his cabs I think he made too. Like he makes a bunch of stuff. And so the closer on our last album, the noise track, that one was all, it was just an improv drum fill on the spot. And then he had,
that's very good.
he had and then CJ had, one of the noise pedals he made. I forget which one or what it does or whatever, but yeah, CJ was just using one for that song. It's just one noise pedal that he was fucking around with, and Andre did a drum solo, and then I did this like improv, like evil gospel type thing, like based off like some prayer that was in my head or something. So it was just like
very cool.
That whole noise track was like pretty much an improv thing, but
and we intentionally had the subject matter today and had Pete on today to talk about his band because it's National Day of Prayer, in case anybody didn't know.
Wow.
So never more appropriate than me talking about 7 demons and what have you today.
Wow.
So
couldn't have planned that better.
Your guys' newest album, of course, came out in February of this year, Prisoners, 7 Demons. Again, no more fitting name, as we mentioned earlier.
Praise Love the artwork.
Under His Eye.
Yeah. The artwork is insane. So a shout out to that artist. I'm a really big media guy. I do like visual media, stuff like that.
Graphic
design, stuff like that.
Awesome.
So shout out to that person. I love the whole digital-esque-ness to it. I don't know if you kind of look at it, it almost looks like, it's really
he goes by his like artist name is Blind Cherub. You can find him on everything. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check him out. Yeah, great stuff.
Josh does our graphic design, but he's also been hired by bands and stuff. So the big black metal band right now, Storm Ruler. He actually did a lot of stuff for them.
I did 2 of their lyric
videos
videos. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'll check them out after.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, they're a really good band. We've had them on the show too as well.
Good dude.
St. Louis guy.
Yeah, they just got back in. They were touring Europe with Cannibal Corpse and Dark Funeral.
Dark Funeral.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
they opened for them on their
European
tour.
And this
That's
guy's
good,
younger than us, and he's doing it.
Yeah,
he's
like
from
early
around
20s.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I would to meet Corpse Grind. Have you seen all those videos of him shopping at Target and stuff?
No, I don't think so.
I need to check that out.
Corpse Grinder just seems like the nicest dude in all of heavy music.
Yeah.
The singer for Cannibal. Always
Yeah.
I think him and what's his name? I can't even think of his name right now. Jason. God.
Yeah.
They took a lot of pictures together.
Yeah, they ended up I don't think Jason was like a big fan of their band in
Yeah.
general. Like he's more on the black metal side of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they ended up being pretty good friends.
Yeah, and they've gotten really
Yeah,
close,
they hit it
I think,
off.
after the tour. So
I bet. Yeah, you gotta like.
He's a cool
There's
ass guy.
all these hilarious videos of Corpse Grinder shopping at Target, and like he loves Target. He like loves Legos and toys and stuff. It's just like it's super.
I'm gonna have to check that
Yeah,
out.
that's my kind of
wholesome and
content.
funny.
Yeah, without question. So talk to us about the writing process of the album. I know you kind of talked a bit specifically about the noise track here just moments ago, but one thing I definitely picked up on was some of your lyric crafting and things. And it's kind of common in heavy music, some of the violent imagery and stuff that's used on purpose, but I think it's very fitting to the music as well.
right.
And just kind of talk to me about some of the influences, some of your lyrics to some of your songs and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know. For this band, like it always ends up being kind of like oniony, like layers. And like, maybe that's the wrong way to put it, but like there's always like multiple meanings and stuff. Like I try and I always go in like trying to do a concept record or
Sure.
like trying to make it personal and relatable and stuff.
Yeah.
Like almost like definitely in like older bands and stuff, like I was trying to just do like the emotional thing and
I think some artists need that though to keep themselves focused.
Right.
And
yeah,
kind of why people
or
make those decisions.
try to bite like Keith Buckley. Like he was like my favorite lyricist for a while. Every Time I Die.
Definitely.
But for this band, like the music's just like so brutal, and like for this album and specifically too, it's just like I couldn't. Whatever style I came into it with, it just mutated, and it was like, no, this is murder music. Like I gotta beef it up.
Definitely.
But yeah, and the lyrics were like rewritten like 20 times. It was excruciating. Like I just couldn't come up with anything I liked, and it finally came out the way it came out. But like there's a bunch of influences. Like a lot of the writing took place during the pandemic and stuff. So like some of the songs are influenced by like conspiracy theory stuff that was like all over my newsfeed. And then like, there is some personal stuff about like trauma. Like, I struggle with OCD. And I also have PTSD, and that's kind of where like the album title came from too. Like PTSD, Prisoner to Seven Demons.
Yeah.
And of course there's also, like some religious stuff going on in there. And there's, no, I'd have to look at the song titles. There's, and then there's just stuff about like Cyber Spells is about like internet addiction for the most part. And like, there ended up being like a lot of societal stuff, I guess, because like just how can you not go and
Right. Yeah. If it's the time, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I guess it's a little bit of everything, and there's even some like sci-fi stuff coming into play, dystopian stuff, and like I can't not make a Magic the Gathering reference. So like I'm a huge Magic nerd and Warhammer and all that nerd shit.
Yeah.
That's I love. So there's always going to be references to that stuff and
Hell yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Easter eggs. Yeah.
Two other guys that we do stuff with here on the podcast, Brandon Stewart, he's known as Knobnard across our stuff as well. He's really into like Warhammer and D&D stuff like that.
He does like figurine. He like does what's he call them? Dioramas.
He does his own dioramas and makes his own figs. And
he
stuff,
does really good.
Figs.
Yeah.
And nice. Then Ridge was really into Magic the Gathering. Ridge does a lot of our like music curation, physical media, lean into that stuff with his brother on a show called Waxing On, where they do album reviews and actually like look at the physical media liner notes, talk about stuff that that when we were kids going to record stores and collecting stuff, whether it was tape singles or actual CDs were really more so popular. As we got into our teenage years. But those things that you don't get to experience now in a digital age, people don't seek that information out.
Right.
Dude, I feel like such a poser not collecting physical music, and it blows my mind to hear what you just said, because anytime someone can like buy vinyl and Magic cards, I'm like, do you sell drugs? Like, what? How do you get this money? Because like Magic is already so expensive, right? And then you add vinyl collecting onto that. Like, vinyl, I don't make that kind of money, but so I picked Magic over vinyl, and it makes me feel like a poser because I'm not out here supporting bands like that.
Well, there's the thing about the vinyl chase for me is it's kind of like you watch for deals and you try to go to like estate sales or
you hit up the different stores too. You try to shop the stores,
and sometimes you come across a record they don't realize what they have and they have it marked down because it hasn't moved in their inventory. Those type of things happen, but obviously the majority of it is nowadays people, even if they don't know what they have, they just go to eBay and try and figure it out, or go to Discogs and they know what the value is of it and they try to sell it in the store at that too.
Right.
And, some people don't realize the grading and the mint condition or not mint condition, much like, like trading cards. Like when I was younger, I was big into like baseball trading cards and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Pokemon blew up when I was a teenager, so that missed me marginally, even though I initially had some stuff.
I was into
Yeah,
I was into it,
but always been kind of nerdy and collected stuff. So scratches some of those itches having that a part of our programming. But to lean that back into you, I tried to go on your guys' site and see what you guys had and you guys were sold out of everything except for T-shirts. Look like
yeah. So like, I don't know, it sucks. Like I know a lot of people want vinyl. And so like people message me all the time on the Instagram and stuff asking for it, but like just financially, like we can't swing it right now.
Right. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like vinyl is super expensive, and like a few labels like have approached us and stuff, but like just like straight up not good deals.
Right.
It's either they keep all the money or they do it for charity. And it's just like, as much as we'd like to do something for charity, it's like we go into the red. So we would like to at least break even if possible.
Exactly. Sure.
Yeah. So we haven't had the right deal with anything. For as far as like physical stuff, and like same with shirts too. Like I'd love to do multiple designs, but again, like we just don't sell enough of the one design. So, I also might just not have the knowledge to like run a band like better. But I'm doing the best I can, and
it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot that goes into running a band that people don't realize without question.
We do have CDs coming out this month, though.
Very cool.
I don't think I'm allowed to say who it's with, but I can say the date. I think it's May 19th.
So that's just a few weeks out.
Oh yeah, it's coming quick.
So if you check our pages or whatever, May 19th, you'll know where to get the CD.
Very cool.
And
well,
it looks really cool. I had my friend John, who plays bass and like a guitar in like a million death metal bands. He's in GOG, Grotesqueries, Hallucivore. He did all the design for it. It came out really nice. So
very cool. Yeah, I know who Grotesqueries is. I like them.
Yeah, we're playing with them in July.
Cool.
Do you know if is it going to be a digipack, or is it going to be like a jewel casing, or how's it packaged?
I think it's jewel case, but it might be one of those paper ones. No, it must be jewel case, because the Photoshop format thingy I got an email. Looked like a jewel case. I think
Very
it's a jewel
nice.
case. Yeah.
Very cool.
That is cool.
But
Yeah, a lot of people are going on that Digipack route because it's obviously a little bit cheaper to manufacture or whatever.
I
But
don't
jewel
even know what a
cases hold up.
Digipack is.
It's kind of like those paper cases like you were talking to. It kind of folds out
Yeah.
inside of itself. Yeah.
Gotcha.
In more cases than not. And there's a lot of bands that don't even see like what's being mass marketed and manufactured. And so whenever it actually hits, like a lot of people get like pissed off. I think that just happened with the new Metallica album, 72 Seasons, where they had like a real shitty like Digipack presentation with the CD. Like people are fucking infuriated. Like I think there's
they can
videos.
afford to go all out.
No,
yeah,
shit,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, they just bought their own vinyl manufacturing.
Right.
So yeah, come on, man.
Wow.
But yeah, we'll see if Ridge and his brother are interested once you guys have that out to throw that across their show, Waxing On.
Yeah,
That'd
let
be
them
sure,
review
yeah.
that. That'd be
Yeah.
sweet.
I mean, we'd love to do vinyl eventually too. Like I
Right,
said,
sure.
it just
Right.
it depends.
Can't break the bank
Yeah.
for it. I get it. You know, it's outrageous.
Yeah, it's just I made the mistake of going to college too, so I'm in a fuckload of debt.
I hear you.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm still paying mine. I hear you.
Yeah, we're still paying for my wife's as well, and I understand that totally. I wanted to talk to you too, Pete, about how the album's being received. I know that some of what I saw, anyways, it's being well received. More particularly, things like I follow on social media that I value the opinions of. Things like the Mathcore Index and so on. Like you guys have been getting some attention from them, and so I, from my perspective, everything looks great. How about you on your side? What are you seeing?
Yeah, it's definitely like the most attention that we've ever got. Like, I don't think there was like a single write up about our first record, and then like I'm seeing stuff like all the time. Nothing like Metal Injection or Decibel or whatever, but like it's really cool reading stuff like Heavy Blog is Heavy covered us. Mathcore Index, they're always super nice to us.
Which you're getting in on that on the right time because they're kind of exploding. So shout out to those guys.
Yeah,
they're doing
good for them.
They're doing good stuff.
What else? Oh, dude, there's this other podcast called Heaviest Podcast. These two British dudes, and it's so funny. And they covered us, and they have such a way with words. It was
That's
so
awesome.
funny. They were like I don't know, off the top of my head, like they for the noise track, they were like, "Oh, it sounds like a transformer having a heart attack" or something like. Oh man, they're really creative.
That's
funny.
Awesome.
And, it's being received well. Yeah,
I'll have to check out your guys' episode. I didn't realize I did one on you guys.
That's
awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, it's being received well. I'm stoked. Definitely, like, I mean, to us, it's kind of like our first album. The Demolition Fetish felt like more of a demo. It's kind of all over the place, and this is I think this is the first release we were like where we're tuned down to drop A and stuff. We're just letting more of the death metal influence creep in because, I mean, none of us really listen to a ton of mathcore anymore. It's like we mostly like death metal and stuff, and like so we're probably gonna keep going in the more brutal direction. And like peel back on the mathy stuff a little bit. And like this summer we're playing a bunch of death metal and grind shows, so we're like stoked on that. I still always love the mathy stuff, but
it's kind of
getting older.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah. That's hell on you. Now, I know the album's just been out for a couple of months, and you've kind of already alluded to it. You guys have some shows on the horizon. I saw you guys share a series of those shows on your Facebook, and we shared them on our Facebook as well. We'll talk about some of the upcoming shows and the opportunities that you guys have, some things that you're looking forward to on your upcoming shows, bands that you're playing with, perhaps you haven't played in the past.
We're stoked. Like, I guess that's another good thing about the new album is it definitely like got a lot more bands wanting to play with us, I guess, because we like hardly ever got hit up for shows before, but now it's like every day I have to say no to a lot more than I want to. But yeah, it's cool, man. And there's like I can't think off the top of my head, but yeah, we're playing with a bunch of cool bands this summer. A lot of grind bands, a lot of death bands. There's a couple. I think two of the one of the ones I can't announce yet is like a big festival type, or like a local festival. Not like Roadburn or anything. I don't know. It's gonna be like an all day thing. That's gonna be fun. And then our friends we're playing with a bunch of our friends too. So I don't know. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head. I don't want to check my phone, but like you can see on our socials, I'll be posting about all the shows. But yeah, we have at least, I think, pretty much almost a show every weekend for like the next 3 months. So
stay busy. Cool. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, back to some of your vocal talk too. Like, you're talking about you want to be at certain places and plateaus, it's just like anything else, is that muscle memory that you have to build up. And even with
vocal work, right?
Shows. Yeah, without question, that's going to add a lot to your repertoire and your abilities too. That's going to build you up, because there's nothing like, nobody realizes it, being out in front of people and that adrenaline pumping through you. Yeah. And, having to push some vocals, or no matter what your instrument is or your occupation is in the band, like there's just nothing like that rush that you get.
Like live shows. Yeah.
I know. The songs always like feel like they're faster and stuff. Like, play them the same way. But I'm definitely going to have to, for the weekend run, I'm definitely going to have to change my diet, because I love spicy food and I have really bad reflux, and I can't be taking that on the road with me.
I hear
you.
Getting old's a bitch, ain't it?
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks. Yeah. I know I about piss my pants about 30 times a day every day. I just cannot hold my bladder no more. I'm only in my mid-30s. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Now, I know you guys have got these shows too slated, obviously, somewhat in support of like your most recent material. I would imagine you're predominantly playing that out, right?
Exclusively.
Yeah,
okay. We're always sort of like especially now that our styles like change so much and stuff, and like, and like the older songs, like they're in different tunings. They use different pedals. Like we're a big pedal band.
Gotcha.
Like we play on 6 strings with pedals and stuff. So it's like, like we have a completely different pedal board now. So it's just like, it would be like really annoying to like have like 2 boards just to like play the old material.
Right.
Does your bass play 6 string also?
Huh?
Does your bassist play 6 string?
Yeah.
Bass?
6 string,
nice.
Yeah, 6 string bass and 6 string guitar.
Very nice.
Cool. And what was I saying? So also like we're not really connected with the old material and stuff. And, honestly, like we might not even be connected with this material by the time the next record comes out. And we might just be one of those bands that only plays the new album. And it pisses me off when other bands do that, but I'm stoked on it for my other band.
Well, you got to be passionate about what you're playing and what you're writing. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't
that's one way to make it that way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
it's almost like the comedians who tear up their act and they go find a new act entirely. Like, I think Louis C.K. is pretty popular for that. Once he's done touring on that material that year, he'll just write entirely. He throws it away, never uses it again, and moves on to something else. I think there's something to that.
Yeah, absolutely,
for sure.
Yeah,
you don't see it.
Maybe we'll change our name again too. Like every record, we'll just change our name.
Yeah, you gotta follow the crumb trails all the way back.
Yeah.
So, what's next for you guys? Like, what goals do you have going forward? I mean, obviously, you guys are going to be playing this material out. You guys already working on new material? What can you talk about?
We started writing. Like I alluded to earlier, it's like so far it's like. I guess like it might be a little bit of a sound change again, kind of like peeling back on the math a little bit and going like straight up like brutal Deathgrind stuff. Like I've been exclusively listening to like degenerate pig squeal music. Like like old MySpace stuff. Like I just like go back into like Pencil
War from a Harlot's Mouth, stuff like that.
The Partisan Turbine. I don't know if you ever got into them.
That one didn't. I don't remember that one.
Who was it again?
Partisan Turbine.
The Partisan Turbine.
No, I don't know if I remember them. Yeah,
they're just like that's stuff I've been listening to, and then like same with the guys. Like we've all been on a big Devourment kick, and like grinds too. Always listening to grind. So I don't know. Yeah, we're writing now. I think it's going to be even heavier than the last one, and hopefully people like it, and we'll see what happens. Like we did get like some pretty crazy attention from some bigger producers just that liked the last material, so I don't know if we'll end up like going to a well-established
well, it's funny that you mentioned that. I noticed Will Putney started following you guys, and he's a St. Louis guy. So, like I always kind of keep tabs on him and what he's got going on. And
oh, is he from St. Louis?
Yeah, he's from St. Louis originally.
Oh, wow.
I know he's up in the Northeast now, but of course he's a part of my new favorite band,
Better Lovers.
Better Lovers. Come on, man.
Dude.
How incredible!
Yeah, it's like a super group, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I have a new favorite band.
I mean, dude, if I was Jordan Buckley, I also would have gotten him in the band, if for nothing else, for the free studio time.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I knew that he was recording them, and I didn't think anything past that. And Jordan Buckley made the comment that Andy was welcome to come into this project, and they were leaving a spot open for him. But then whenever they announced that Will was in the band, I'm like, this makes way too much fucking sense now. Like I should have seen this coming. And then Greg, I think, is perhaps the best modern day vocalist. I mean, he can do everything. He's got his own solo stuff. Obviously, he did what he did with Dillinger. He's done a lot of features. He does Jerry Cantrell's band with him. He tours with him from Alice in Chains. He's awesome with that shit. Like,
it's a very unique,
so good.
His electronic project is with like one of the Nine Inch Nails guys too. Like,
oh wow,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Black Queen. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. Like, the guy is so super fucking talented, and like if I was creating my all-star roster of a band, I think he probably would be
hands down,
first person in the conversation for both of us.
Yeah, he's amazing. Love Greg.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to get into the portion of asking you some interesting and random questions, Pete, just so that our audience can kind of get to know you a little bit better and your personality and that sort of thing.
Sure.
I'll start with an easy one maybe for you. And maybe you've given us some of these already, but what would you put on your personal Mount Rushmore of front-end men? So frontmen of bands, who are your four guys probably influence-wise, or maybe developmental-wise, it was a big milestone for you, opened you up to other music or what a frontman could be or whatever the case is. I'm not really going to put too many parameters on it, just kind of what you would probably have to say is your frontman Mount Rushmore.
Jeez. Man.
Mine's weird as hell, so.
Yeah, all right. So, like, number one is, it has to be, this one might get number one's for me is Gerard Way. He's my favorite frontman. Like, MCR was, like, kind of the gateway for me for heavy stuff. I'm only a little bit younger than you guys. I'm 29. But, like, yeah, MCR was like them and like Fall Out Boy were like the two first bands I heard use screaming, along with like Linkin Park and System and stuff like that. But Gerard Way is like the guy that made me want to be a singer.
Okay.
And
would have never guessed that, but I don't have an issue with it.
That's actually like, to be honest, him and Daryl from Glassjaw are like where my talkie stuff comes from. It's not so much like the Daughters thing, even though like I did grow up listening to like a lot of Daughters and Heavy Lolo. It's mostly Gerard Way and Daryl Palumbo that influenced the spoken stuff for me, and like the building onto a scream from talking. So yeah, probably Gerard, Daryl Palumbo is like one of my favorite singers. Like,
he might be in mine too.
Like, yeah, I feel like what Corey Taylor was for a lot of metal guys was like what Daryl was for me, as far as that like unhinged, like pissed off, dude.
Definitely.
Because like I didn't get into Slipknot till like recently. Like I just like blew them off as a kid. But like that Glassjaw stuff like really connected with me when I was younger. I mean, you know, the misogynist lyrics haven't aged well, but those records still slap.
For sure.
But yeah, probably those two guys, and then for stuff like metal stuff, I guess for like the mid and low stuff, like it's between like Nate Johnson or Phil Bozeman. Like those are my two goats. Like Fit for an Autopsy's Hellbound record and Whitechapel's, you know, the first three are all awesome, but the third one, actually, New Era of Corruption, that vocal performance was like really influential on me. So probably either Nate or Phil as like my beefy low end guy on my Rushmore. And then like for high screams, like my favorite high screams ever are on Chelsea Grin's My Damnation album. It was after the dude like fucked up his jaw and everyone thought he sounded like shit. But like, to me, those are the coolest, like manic, shrieky vocals I've ever heard.
Yeah. Sometimes just being different, like it draws me to, you know, vocalists, regardless of whether one would classify it as good or bad. Just like I like, I've heard a lot of shit in my lifetime. Like, give me something I haven't heard, you know? Right. So I think that's kind of I mean, I didn't never really get into them personally, but like, I think that's kind of an example of it, though. Right. For sure. Yeah. It was something that was a little bit different, you know, and stood out.
Yeah. You know, Mitch from Suicide Silence obviously was like a huge influence on me too, like stage presence wise, and you know, his highs were awesome too. Yeah. And like a lot of those early guys that did the high screams, like I guess like had terrible technique, but that is my favorite way to do it, and I don't care if I lose my voice doing it. Like I love the way those high screams sound. Like everyone's doing the goblin shit now, and that's cool if you like that. But like, and I was doing that when I first joined this band, but like I really miss the old like manic, like fucking crazy high screams that we had back in the day. You know?
I wouldn't necessarily classify him as manic, but somebody that is a high screamer that I think, I don't know, in some scenes it's like kind of cool to shit on them, but I think they're badass. As the guy from Knock Loose. I know you're a big fan.
Oh, dude. He's awesome.
Ryan Garris is my hero. He's like, he may be my favorite vocalist in the game right now.
Yeah. It's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. I there's a ton of like really awesome, unique vocalists in hardcore now. Like Matt Honeycutt from Kubla Khan too has that like coolest like testosterone like grizzly bear fucking
you just got over big with Jake Jackson, Ridge's brother. That
he's a Kubla Khan guy.
He's a huge Kubla Khan guy.
Yeah. Dude, they're awesome.
Constantly talking about Kubla Khan.
Dude, I've seen them a bunch live now too. They're literally like Bury Your Dead with Pantera grooves.
Yeah,
like
really.
They're so sick.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Southern Fried Bury Your Dead.
You get the benefit of living in a more, you know, populated metropolis to get to see stuff. People will skip over St. Louis intentionally, pretty routinely. So we don't get to see like we have to. Like seriously, man. Like sometimes we got to drive to Nashville to see shit.
Yeah, like, or Chicago.
Or Chicago, which I do not drive to Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago.
That's just one thing that I'm afraid to drive to myself. Just because I've heard so many horror stories from people. But another question for you, Pete. Choice of weapon in a zombie apocalypse. What's your go-to?
Oh man, probably a chainsaw.
Attaboy.
Yes, like I feel like you have to, man.
Yeah, it's certainly for
either that or a samurai sword, but like definitely nothing I have to reload.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess a chainsaw you kind of have to reload. You need gas and stuff.
Gas.
So like probably like a katana or something. I guess.
There you go.
I know it's not real practical, but ever since I saw like Brain Dead, I wanted to have like, or Dead Alive, whatever, you know, you want to label it as. I always thought that scene with the lawnmower was pretty badass. The push mower just like pressed it into everybody.
Didn't Dr. Acula actually use that in one of their music videos? And I think they had to like take it out or something. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you remember that band, but Dr. Acula.
Oh yeah,
kind of a big MySpace.
Yeah, they're back.
Yeah, I've heard that. And I've heard it's completely different.
Well,
they played Providence like a couple weeks ago or something, and I didn't even know. I wish I did. I would have gone and seen
Funny enough, Josh got them to come to Farmington, Missouri, because they used to do shows, shows down here, and they actually came out here and played a outdoor festival.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah,
what was that, like 08 maybe?
Yeah, 07? I didn't really expect it because it was just kind of like, hey, guys, we're having a show. We would love to have you if you guys are making your way through here. And they're like, yeah, okay. And then they just showed up. Like there was no other correspondence. Nothing.
Yeah, I've heard like this lineup especially that they're back with are all like super awesome, super nice guys, and the new record's sick too. Like,
I have to check it out.
Yeah, it's like I would say the new record to me sounds more metalcore than deathcore. Like kind of has like an Every Time I Die vibe to it, but still like super good. Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad to hear those guys are still going because, like I said, they were super nice to me, so they were always great.
Yeah.
Pete, what would you say is an interesting fact about you that most people would find to be a surprise?
Oh man, I don't know if there's anything like that interesting about me. I'm colorblind.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I guess that might be interesting. I'm colorblind and I majored in fucking illustration.
Okay. Yeah, that is.
I'm not that smart.
Seems kind of oxymoronic in a way, or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't drawn in a while, but yeah. Originally, I wanted to do comic books, and then
oh, cool.
It was just like very.
Any comic artists that you like a lot? Any comic artists you're really into?
I really liked the stuff that I loved back in the day was like the '90s X-Men stuff,
hell yeah,
that was almost like anime influence, like the Joe Mad and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
wasn't that Chris Bacala or something like that?
Oh God, I can't
remember his last name now. It escapes me. But he did some really anime X-Men type, like Adrian Hawks. He was the main artist on that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was like the stuff that I really grabbed onto as a kid, and then I moved on to like manga and stuff. And I'm definitely like more of like an anime manga guy than Western stuff. And so like Junji Ito and like all those like Japanese horror guys, like I really love. But yeah, I haven't. I've just been trying to pay off my loans and stuff. I haven't been drawing, but I'd love to get back into drawing, and that was like my first passion before
music,
doing the screaming and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
If you could be the fly on the wall on any conversation in history, or to any individual person, who would be your selection and why?
Oh man. I don't know, man.
That's a tough one.
Off the top of my head, like probably like Riff Raff on Any Given Day, because like, everything he says is like ridiculous.
That's fantastic.
That's the perfect
that
answer.
Is fantastic.
Yep.
Just like I really want to know if that's a character or if he like
is genuine
talks in like Tangerine Jacuzzi like all the time, like that's just like how his brain works, and he's just that much of a cokehead. Like
I would say at this point, he probably has like been the character so much that it probably is his personality to some extent. I mean, it would have to be, right? Because that guy's been around for a while.
Is he even?
15 plus
he
years.
was. He do music?
Yeah.
Is he still doing music?
He is. He like moved on. So he's not like as much of like a rapper anymore, as he's doing these like synthy, just like pure like 80s movie cocaine songs, like just like fully like he bulked up. He was like definitely on steroids for a while, and now he's back super skinny. So he's definitely on blow again, and like just making the most like 80s sounding music ever.
Attaboy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Pete, what would you say is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh man. It's probably God, I know I've eaten some weird stuff, but I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything off the
No
top
Rocky
of my head.
Mountain oysters in your.
You guys,
No, dude, I don't fuck with seafood at all. I think it's gross. I'm
Okay,
like
no
totally weirded out by seafood.
I don't really do it either.
Well, Rocky Mountain oysters isn't seafood.
Yeah, I learned that the hard
what
way.
is it?
It's bull's testicles or
Yeah,
buffalo.
cattle testicle. Yeah.
Oh,
They call them Rocky Mountain oysters out this way.
Yeah. No, they're popular. They're considered an aphrodisiac supposedly, which I don't understand how that's possible. I mean,
Yeah,
I've just seen them and the smell of them. Yeah, they're not great.
we got some weird stuff out here in the Midwest. Like we talked about this before on the show, but my grandpa used to make head cheese, which is like where they boil out a cow's head, and it's like everything from inside the head, like the brain, the eyes, the tongue, all that. They do some weird stuff out here.
Dude, my girlfriend's she's Laos and Thai, and her family is like the balut or like balut or something.
Oh, balut.
It's like baby chickens, but they like eat them out of the egg.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
Ooh, all crunch and all, huh?
I'm not about it, but that's the weirdest thing that I've seen people eat. But like,
yeah.
I don't think I really eat that much weird food. I don't think I'm a picky eater, but I like if someone's like, do you want to try an eyeball or a testicle? I'm just like, I don't.
No, not today.
I'm good. I know you said you like spicy stuff. Like, what's some of the more spicy things that you've eaten or eat?
I like spicy food, but like, I'm not like crazy about like I need it to still have flavor. So for me, like,
sure.
Like I cap out at like salsa verde, but I put it on everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I like tasty spice stuff frequently, like every day. But I don't. I'm not like a Pain Olympic spice man.
Oh no,
I'm not trying to be on Hot Ones after this. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm pretty into Hot Ones. I usually get like occasionally, like once a year, my wife will get me like the sauce packs and stuff. And I can do all the sauces and everything, but like there's some of them that are just spicy to be spicy, like they don't have much of a taste. But I will say, like the hottest one by like a substantial amount of Scoville, the Last Dab sauce actually has a pretty good taste comparatively to like some further down the run. So if you can take the heat, it's actually pretty good. Hot sauce. It makes a difference that it's a mash versus something that's just watery.
Right. Like an oil or something.
Yeah, well, stuff that's just like extracts and all vinegary, like that's often not very tasteful, and they all start to blend together and start to taste the same. But if you can get a good mash hot sauce, that's where it
makes a difference.
For sure.
Oh yeah, I just got to be careful because like now I'm getting older, like the reflux shit goes crazy, and like
I'm sure my day is coming,
dude. One time I just put like I was at my girlfriend's apartment and like. I was trying to eat as healthy as possible at the time, and I just had like some plain ass chicken and rice in a bowl, and I was like, I gotta spice this up. And I mixed a bunch of random hot sauces that were like in the fridge, decked this thing out, crushed it, and then like a few hours later, I like thought I was having a heart attack. I just like swords in my chest, and I was up all night. And she was like, are we going to have to go to the ER? Like, are you having a heart attack? And it was just like crazy hot sauce death. So I got to be careful.
Have to eat you a bottle of Tums after that one.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, that's Tums and ginger chews. That's the other hack, dude.
Yeah, ginger
chews.
Big help.
Miracle.
That's my sushi go-to is a little soy sauce on the sushi. Lay the wasabi paste real light on top, and then cap it off with a little ginger.
There you go.
And there you go. Yeah,
they all saturate each other.
Miracle worker. Yeah.
Hell yeah. What's your favorite TV show? Would you say, Pete?
Favorite TV show?
Can be current, can be all time, whatever's rocks your boat.
Like live action.
Anything, man. Anything? Even if it's anime, whatever the case is.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Cowboy Bebop or Evangelion are probably the things I've rewatched the most. Like Full Metal Alchemist as well, Brotherhood. I've rewatched that a bunch. I really like Peaky Blinders too.
Yeah.
I like randomly got into that show. That show's amazing.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen like all the like best TV show ever shows. Like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad.
Sure.
I've like only seen a few episodes and I've just never gotten around to it because I'm like overwhelmed by like
the world, the universe, the characters.
Like hour-long episodes,
Yeah.
and then you got to keep track of like 90 people.
Yeah.
Like I feel like with anime, you never have to keep track of that many people because everyone dies. So it's just like, and like,
well,
it's just like,
I could. Make
well, I guess that probably happens in Game of Thrones.
Like you're saying, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I haven't got into a lot of the best TV shows, but yeah, I'd say like all those. I guess it's pretty basic anime taste, actually. Nothing like too obscure, I guess.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Those are all solid.
Yeah, those are all solid picks.
Yeah.
What sport, if required to be inebriated for, drugs, alcohol, whatever the case is, would be the most fun to spectate? And what would be the appropriate combination to you?
Yeah, for the Boston guys. Which is sport?
Yeah.
Oh, well, wrong person to talk to, dude. I don't give a fuck about any sport.
You don't like sports?
Really?
I'm sorry.
It might make it interesting if, let's say, somebody was on LSD and playing soccer. I don't know. Just throwing a combination out there.
Well, I will say, just like, especially from like back in my most belligerent years, like drunk kickball is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Because, like,
I get down with that.
People just end up on their back all the time when they're trying to
kick the hell out of that ball.
Kick the ball. And then like in college, like a few times we would play drunks versus stoners kickball. One team would be high and one team would be drunk, and that was always super fun. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Is Massachusetts a legal state? Recreational state?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think probably.
I was going to say, I don't know. I would assume so, but I don't know.
I've never really like taken to weed.
Yeah.
It's just like never really been my thing, but I assume it is. I see people smoke all the time, so
yeah. Probably safe to assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One last easy one for you, Pete. What are you currently spinning? What's heavy in the rotation for you right now? What are you listening to?
Oh man. So let me pull up my thing. Today I was listening to this Deathgrind band called Naraka from Pittsburgh, I think. They're really good. I just found out about this electronic artist called Iris.exe. That's really cool. I think she's like an AI assisted artist, which I feel kind of weird about. But she like does all these features with metalcore bands. Like she was on the new From Joy record and she was on the Vatican record.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been checking out her stuff and it's like actually really good. Let's see, what else have I been listening to?
You brought that up. It made me think of, I got in a discussion with some contributors to the show as well today about an artist, people probably know her now, but Poppy. Like, she kind of started off a little poppy and like with makeup videos and stuff like that. But she progressively did more heavier and darker music and did some collaborations with various artists. Like, I'm a big professional wrestling fan, so she's done some performances for professional wrestling and done some songs for entry music for people. She did, I think, a live performance she did with Code Orange for a wrestler, Io Shirai, on one of their pay-per-views too. But I've been kind of impressed, like, kind of where she's went. Like, I can actually like listen to some of the stuff that she does. Not something I would normally be into.
Yeah, dude, I know way too much about Poppy. I was also like, so Poppy like started off like working with this dude who ended up being a piece of shit or whatever. This dude Titanic Sinclair. Mm-hmm. So originally, like, he was behind the Poppy thing, but then she like broke away and stuff. And before that, he was with this other girl, and they were called Mars Argo. And she's coming back now, too.
That sounds familiar.
But I was really into Mars Argo because they had this, like, old-school Gwen Stefani No Doubt vibe to them.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I was, like, really into that band. But then it ended up he was, like, a real piece of shit. And he just, like, would find cute blonde girls and, like, make music with them and then, like, be manipulative and all that crazy
Yeah.
stuff. So there is like deep lore behind the whole Poppy thing. But yeah, she's like doing like industrial metal and stuff now, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool.
And that's always got a place for me, industrial metal.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so my most listened to album right now is Scaring the Hose, JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown.
Nice.
Speaking of industrial, it's kind of like industrial hip hop. Like the production and the beats is just like insane. I've also really been into. I don't really like genty poppy metalcore at all, but that new Invent Animate record is insane. It's
you haven't listened to that yet.
Oh, I also got a shout out. I'm sorry, I'm being ADD as fuck right now, but I also got to shout out Cave Moth. This dude who like I grew up a town over from, Dan Wolfson. He's the vocalist in this band, Cave Moth. If you like my band and you like Noel and Full of Hell and Fond Limbs and stuff like that, you got to check out Cave Moth's new EP, Paralytic Love.
All right, we'll check that out for sure.
That shit slaps.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's most of what I've been listening to. Oh,
very cool.
The Vomit 4th record too. I really like that one. That's not this year, I don't think. That's last year. Seething Malevolence.
It's more about whatever's you're spinning right at this moment, what you're stuck on. So that's A-okay with me.
I get in phases. I like listen to random shit all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep a pulse on new stuff, but I'm always constantly trying to find my next favorite artist that I haven't heard before, because there's always somebody out there that you haven't heard that you're ultimately going to be into. So that's kind of that's my chase constantly. I'm always looking for that
new.
Yeah, dude.
Sure.
Yeah, it's insane now. Like, just pulling up Spotify and it's just like, so overwhelmed.
Yeah,
like, man, it's so crazy. Like even back in MySpace, like going from band to band, it wasn't that crazy because it'd be like, oh, who's in their top 8?
Exactly, right.
Whatever. And now it's just like, there's more than 8 connected to the page on Spotify, and you can just go down a rabbit hole again and again and again. It's like back when Wikipedia was new and you just go from page to page to page to page to page. It's like that with bands, and I can't even keep up with it.
Yeah.
It's
it is a little overwhelming for sure. Like, I don't even commit things to memory just because I know, like, ease of access. If I don't know for sure, like, I can just pull this up and take a look, and it's just at your fingertips and readily available.
It almost makes me want to get into collecting physicals then, because then I won't have like auction paralysis and be overloaded. Then I'll just be like, I have to listen to this one CD that I bought. Right. Like I'm so close to going back and going full Luddite and just
there's this like kind of I mean, I'm probably going to detail something that everybody can relate to. I can say this about collecting vinyl specifically. So of course vinyl, the printed media, the card sleeve is like, it's pretty big, right?
Yeah.
So you get to see details on album artwork that I think escape most of us, or that is easy to gloss over whenever you're looking at a very small, vector file on your phone,
right?
Teeny tiny, like the detail. Like, I'm a big hip hop head and stuff too. So like some of the current, I like a lot of, more popular current artists, but some that are on the fringe as well. Somebody like a Joey Badass, I would consider kind of on the fringe. That's probably more popular in your area, but not so much here. You mentioned Danny Brown earlier. He's gotten more popular too because he's got the show on Vice, I think, and some of the stuff that he does. And that sort of stuff's kind of gotten him some fame. But a more popular artist that I like is J. Cole. I think he's one of the best rappers to ever do it. His KOD album, I never really noticed like the detail of all the kids like doing drugs and shit like that. And he's got a big Coke, pinky on the cover of it with a crown and stuff. And they had to actually put a disclaimer up at the top, like, this depiction isn't meant to glorify drug use. And I was like, I never noticed any of that fine detail on that little small file that I kept seeing every time I'd stream it. And God knows how many times I fucking played that album and did never pay attention to that.
Right.
So there is a thing to back to the physical media collection, that there's people like overlooking things like that constantly, and you can be a big fan too, and I mean, I don't have the greatest eyesight. I got these fucking Coke bottles on right now, so there's that too. So, but yeah, man, like there's just so much that I feel like a lot of us are being robbed of, going toward a digital age that we don't get to appreciate, unless you have that physical.
That and some music is very sentimental. So to have a physical collection of some sentimental music is a very, very important thing for me too.
Definitely.
Yeah, dude, it's such a bummer too, because like I noticed when you buy like video games now too, they don't have booklets in them anymore.
Right.
And it's like the same thing you were talking about earlier, the digipack. It's like there's no lyric booklet anymore. It's like but obviously like the J. Cole record and the vinyl treatments are always beautiful for the most part. But like it is weird how like when physicals get made now, a lot of the times it's like this watered down version of the physical, just because that many people aren't buying it anymore. Yeah,
sure. Oh, and one thing, because of the vinyl manufacturing shortage and everything, so cassettes kind of had to come back too, and the technology's come a long way too. Like I got this Death Wish, like during the pandemic, was doing all kinds of clearances and stuff, and they have the distro side to their business as well, outside of artists that are Death Wish exclusive, but one that was Death Wish exclusive at one time, Birds and Row, one of my favorite post-hardcore bands, period, French guys. I was like, fuck it, I'll take a chance on a cassette. It was like $5 or $7, and I wasn't really like into the new cassette boom really, but then I got that cassette and I played it through my rig, and I was like, fuck, this sounds great. Like, if done properly, like some of them can come somewhat close to, I know it sounds crazy, but like vinyl quality at times too. But I also think it has to do with like how it is a fact, how it's mixed, what the band sound is. I think like cassette treatments go a little bit more kinder toward like hardcore, post-hardcore, screamo type music. I don't have a ton of like rap on cassettes, but other than like Run DMC, but also it was mixed at the time on purpose, with that application too. So there's that too. Like I have like old Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Young MC, Sir Mix-a-Lot, stuff like that on cassette. And I mean,
Sir Mix-a-Lot, baby.
Yeah, for sure. R.I.P. Right? Pete, man, it was awesome having you, and I appreciate all the time. And so happy to cut up with you, talk about everything awesome that Lotus Eater Machine has going on. Where would you recommend people following you guys on social media? Instagram, Facebook, all the above?
Instagram is definitely the most active. I try and keep up with the Facebook too, but the engagement's like not great. So I mean, Instagram's the main one. Like I've never had a Twitter or anything, so we're probably not going to do that.
Sure.
Bandcamp obviously is where we're doing all of our merch right now. So yeah, Instagram, Facebook, Bandcamp. That's pretty much everything. And then like I said earlier, May 19th, keep your eyes out for that CD.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And we'll send out a reminder whenever that hits too, to our audience, so that they have got a pulse on that and can pick up their copy whenever it comes through. And you guys, at least last I checked, Bandcamp still have shirts in stock, so gobble those up while they're available too, right?
Yeah, we got the new logo on a shirt, and then if for whatever reason you want old Geisterfire merch, just DM us, because we still got a bunch of that. We'll be trying to get rid of that at shows and stuff. But if you want me to put it up on Bandcamp or whatever, just DM us, and if there's enough interest, I will.
Hell yeah. You boys ever go on tour and you want to swing through St. Louis?
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll come buy you a beer or something.
Hopefully. We were supposed to play St. Louis, and like we had this big tour plans, like before the pandemic, and I'm pretty sure we were going to go to St. Louis. I think is if Nesh is from St. Louis?
That I don't know.
No, that was Louisville.
No,
I'm bad with geography. I'm pretty sure we were going to go through St. Louis, though. Anyway, but it ended up
keep it in mind if you do go on tour, though.
There are a lot of venues in St. Louis, and we've got friends that work at a lot of the venues. We have friends in heavy bands in the St. Louis area.
I might have just mixed up Louisville with St. Louis because of the Louis Lewis.
The Louis.
Yes.
Louis Lewis.
Right?
Named after the same person, so we're good.
There's a awesome St. Louis band that I think you guys would pair well with. Not that you guys sound the same, but I think that you guys would sound really great with in a live setting, and that's the Gorge.
Oh, yes.
I think, yeah, for sure. And they're getting ready to put out a new album in July, and hopefully those guys will come on the show and promote their album. They've been doing it for like 15 plus years, I want to say. In the heavy music scene, and they just got signed as well. I don't remember who they got signed by.
I just got to see them live for the first time last year, so yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
They're great dudes.
Absolutely.
Cool.
They've got kind of
sick name.
Yeah,
they got kind of a botchy moments, but they get a little mathy at times and stuff. Like they've got kind of metalcore, but then melodic hardcore moments. I don't know. Like they got a lot going on.
Yeah.
But those guys are just fucking wizards at their instruments.
Is Botch coming to St. Louis?
Unfortunately, no.
I wish.
And I would have given a left nut to see them, quite frankly.
I got my ticket. I got my ticket for the Boston show. Yeah.
They did 2 dates in Chicago. They'd already sold out by one once I got into the pre-sales. My wife had like okayed for me to like, you can go, just take a train or whatever you got to do to get there, blah, blah, blah. And then by the time I like got in there to buy tickets, they were sold out. So
damn.
Like, fuck.
Damn.
You know? So yeah, it's shitty. I'm hoping that they do more just because like everything that I'm seeing, like they keep saying they're only going to do this. Like they're only going to do the one song and then we're going to do nothing else. And then they did a reunion show and then they did a string of shows up in the Northwest. And then they said then they weren't going to go on tour and now they're on tour, you know? So I think they're going to do more and more.
Yeah.
I think
so too.
The groundswell's there.
So many bands have come back. And then once they realize how much interest there is now, how much money they can make, they keep doing it. So
the bassist kind of talks like a dick, like he doesn't like give a fuck because he's got Russian circles or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've always heard that the drummer is the one who's not like was kind of holding things up too. So, but I don't really see it. The drummer's not the one ever running his mouth. It's the bass player. So yeah. And then Dave, the guitarist, is the guitarist for Minus the Bear, which I fucking love. Minus the Bear.
They broke
He's
up
a great guitarist.
like a year or two ago.
Just a few years ago. Yep.
Okay,
absolutely. Yeah, man. He started Reverb stores, like selling a lot of his equipment from Minus the Bear, which I was like, fuck, I'd be clamoring to get some of those like DL4s and shit that he had, but whatever.
Yeah.
Too rich for my blood. I got that champagne taste in that beer pocketbook.
Amen to that.
Alrighty, Pete. Well, it was great meeting you and getting to know you. And I think our audience is going to like you and your music. So I'm looking forward to maybe picking up some extra fans after being on the show and stay connected with us. If you guys got something else in the works in the future, even if it's just as small as, hey, we got a new track. Would you guys mind throwing it in when you can? We'll be happy to do it. Okay.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, this is Josh from ATI Podcast. For show updates and news about the podcast, follow us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ATI Podcast 22, on Twitter at podcast_ATI, on Instagram at the ATI Podcast, on TikTok at ATI Podcast. DMs are always welcome. Have a question for the show? You can always email us at atipodcastquestions@gmail.com. Stay safe out there.
This is Barrett from the ATI Podcast. Each week, Josh and I discuss current events, pop culture, music, TV, movies, politics, sports. Nothing is out of bounds. You can also tune in to learn about rising artists, small businesses. Whether it's music, graphic design, filmmaking, or even a brick-and-mortar mom-and-pop shop, we will be spotlighting folks and their endeavors. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Anchor, or anywhere you enjoy your podcasts. Just search ATI Podcast. We would like to thank you for your continued support, and as always, please stay safe out there.